We're kicking off our review of the last year with a review of the last Republican debate. 18 million people tuned in to CNN live from Las Vegas, and here's a bit of what they got.
Chaos candidate, a chaos president.
Oh, you're a tough guy.
Bombast and insults.
Feckless weakling.
Political correctness is killing people. These mythical moderate rebels, it's like a purple unicorn.
I don't do a lot of talking. I do a lot of doing.
Frankly, it's time that we punch the Russians in the nose.
Was it a game changer? Is it time to cull the herd? Joining me to talk about that are Jennifer Nassour. She's the former chair of the Massachusetts Republican Party. Hi, Jennifer. Yeah. Shannon O'Brien is a Democratic former state treasurer, candidate for governor. Good to see you, too. And we should note a current Clinton supporter. We forgot to say it's very important. And GBH's own Adam Riley, who's not supporting anybody as far as we know. Good to see you through. Now, the thing I don't get about last night's debate, Donald Trump is crushing everybody. And with the exception of one guy, no one goes at him. Here's Jeb Bush.
But he's a chaos candidate, and he'd be a chaos president.
He has failed in this campaign. It's been a total disaster.
This is another example of the lack of seriousness. Donald, you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency. This is a tough business to run for president.
I know, you're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
real
principled.
tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
You know, you can review that little head-to-head there, but even if you don't want to, explain to me why you're losing by 30 points, 32 points to the front runner. The last debate before next year. Why does nobody except Jeb Bush decide to take the front runner on? I don't get it, Jennifer.
Well, I think that you have a couple of other people, right? So you have Cruz, who has slowly gone up in the polls. You have Rubio, who's slowly going up in the polls.
I thought Cruz was going to endorse Trump last night the way it was going.
Well, I thought Trump was just going to say, we're going to be a team where he's my running mate. I mean, they essentially got there. And then you have Chris Christie, who fell off of the adult table, went to the kid table, now back up there. And he's
number
also
2 in New Hampshire.
And he's doing really well.
How's that an answer to my question?
Well, because the answer is, for those three, if they just keep their steady pace, they'll keep going up in the polls. And they know that, and their campaigns know that. I think Bush is at a place right now where he can do anything because his campaign is almost dead. So he has to pull out all the stops. It's all the spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks, and move on, see if the poll numbers go up.
I am. It's a Doug Flutie moment. It's the Hail Mary pass. And I thought
For
Bush, I thought it was actually his best debate so far. He still has this style that doesn't inspire confidence. Even when he's sort of, hitting all his points, there's this stumbly way that he speaks that I think does not inspire confidence.
Sort of like when your little kid's in a play and you're nervous that he or she is not going to
He's going to say something wrong.
He's been inspiring that feeling in me for a little while. I remember seeing him unveil his big new Obamacare alternative in New Hampshire, and there was a moment in his speech then when he said, and we should explore the human brain like we did the moon. And you could see he felt embarrassed delivering the line. He gave it anyway. And I felt bad for him in the moment. And I felt the same way last night. He was saying, I will respond with strength. And you could see he was sort of shaking and quivering. He's not the tough guy he's trying to be to change the dynamic with Trump. And he doesn't have anything else. I legitimately feel bad for him.
It's not coming from his gut.
Yep.
And that's what people are responding to. I don't know if he wants to go home. I think he doesn't want to go home to mom. I think that him not being as successful as a lot of people predicted he would be, I think is a terrible disappointment. But I still think that last night was his best debate performance. I thought it was the most solid, and he was, speaking more forcefully, and that's important for him.
This is most people have talked about Jeb Bush, by the way, in 6 months. So let's move on for a second. Anybody on the critical list who moved up to stable or some such thing last night, or no?
Not that I saw. Really.
Anybody here? Anybody? No. Anybody in really bad shape who got a little bit of a spark last night? Who moves up?
Maybe. I thought Bush. I don't think he can do anything. I thought he's had a spark.
Nobody else.
I think Bush did. I think Carly did well last night. I think that she wasn't as obnoxious as she was last debate.
That is,
But I mean, last time she came off a little tougher. This time, when she first started talking, if you noticed, she had a smile on her face, and she seemed to respond.
Is that what that was? No.
There was also another moment. There were a couple of these moments. This is a thing where Wolf Blitzer, who's the chief moderator, asks a question based upon a debate between two of the candidates prior to this of Ben Carson, a retired neurosurgeon, if you didn't know it. Watch this.
Dr. Carson, who was right in that little debate we just heard between Senator Rubio and Senator Paul?
I think you have to ask them about that. I don't want to get in between them. Let them fight.
Let me be fair. He had no idea what the two senators were talking about. Donald Trump had no idea what Hugh Hewitt was talking about when he mentioned the nuclear triad. Neither did I, by the way, but I'm not running for the president. Does that not sort of undercut for the voter at home who's angry at Washington? Maybe you do need a little experience before you do this job, Jennifer?
I think it absolutely does. I don't think Ben Carson should be on that stage. And I think one of the problems with him, too, is that he seems like he's always falling asleep. And I think that was a perfect moment of saying he is completely checked out. He is not paying attention. He is falling asleep on that stage.
You know, saying get off the stage, you ran for governor. I mean, one of the big things is what's the point at which you do cull the herd? They've had 5 opportunities for all the 12 who are not Trump to rise to a certain level. Don't they owe it to the American voters, the media, to decide at some point it's time to shrink the field so we can actually hear a little bit more from these people?
I mean, they have shrunk the debate stage, and now you have
9
this
people.
two-tier. But I don't think that it's their place to shrink the stage. I think that you're going to see additional candidates that will be, jumping out. I've seen some different articles that say that Jeb Bush, he's going to spend whatever money he has and see if he can, do anything in New Hampshire. But if he can't do that, I think shortly after.
Should they winnow this thing or no?
Well, I think we're actually past the point in this race where you can make the argument that Donald Trump is only thriving because the race is so big and he's locked up a certain segment of the Republican electorate. I mean, I think his appeal seems to be growing nationally. And I don't know that, in my life, I can't remember seeing a candidate like him before where it's like anything he says and anything anyone else says about him redounds to his benefit. So I don't even know if it matters if there's some sort of self-selective winnowing